Oh, we're on. We're on. All will be revealed. All will be revealed. I can't give away too much too quickly, but don't worry. And I also want to throw a little bonus incentive out there. By about 30 minutes of this run, if we can hit the Hades incentive that's on the board, I will throw in a petting of a dog in Transistor. So, chat, the challenge is yours. If you can hit that, if you can hit the Hades incentive before I get to the 30-minute mark, I'll throw in a little bonus for you. But guys, gals, and non-binary pals, hello, my name is Cass. It is an absolute honor to be here to run Transistor for you today. This game has not been showcased here for a few years now, not since this gentleman here ran it back in 2019?
In the Dark Ages.
In the Dark Ages. In the Dark Ages. But look, we are going to get into it right now, so I'm just going to hit a button here to launch things up. I'm going to quickly check my settings, because they have a habit of resetting after every time you start the game. And we're going to get into it. So I have two wonderful commentators here. I have Katarev, an old runner of the game, that I'm hopefully going to surprise with all of the exciting new things that have happened. And I have the wonderful Cafe Ella, who you would have just seen on stream doing Harvest Moon to give us all of the lore updates as they happen.
I also love counting.
And she also loves to count.
Yeah.
There is counting in this, but I'm not going to have you do
That's
it
why
with
I'm
me, because
here.
it's a lot more complex than just counting up and down. But if we're all ready, in 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so the game starts with us in a back alley. We play as the character Red, and we find a sword impaled in our friend. So we do what any of us would pick it up. We do what any of us would do in that situation. We pick the sword up. We then carry it down where we start getting attacked by this strange little robot man. That there is the first skip in the game, but it is so quick I don't really have time to explain it. We basically just get across a wall before it spawns, and it saves about 2 seconds. This is our first tutorial here, so the turn mechanic is a very major part of the game, usually for combat, where it's similar to the Fallout 4 VATS system, where you will pause time, plan out your attacks to a certain stamina bar, and then you will unpause time and all those attacks will load out one after the other. We barely use it for combat because it's very slow. However, we do use it quite substantially for the overlay. For the overlay. Sorry, I just realized the Steam overlay popped up. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn that off. We're good. We're good. So we do use it to enable quite a few glitches. I'm really glad I turned that off before someone sent me a message. So
I was on it already.
the first few sections of the game are pretty much played as intended. It's mostly just movement optimization as well as AI manipulation. So we try to get rid of the encounters as quickly as we can. But one thing to notice is when we do enter a combat zone, a light blue dotted line gets drawn around the arena. That's important to watch because later on, in about 10 minutes time, we're just going to start skipping over fights. Where basically we're going to stop those boundaries from being spawned. And that is how we go as fast as humanly possible, by getting in and getting out of fights before they lock us in. This is a little flashback to show that, well, not a flashback, but a little bit of a lore dump here to show that in the world of Cloudbank, which is the city the game takes place in, we are a famous singer/architect. And that the Camerata, who we'll be introduced to very soon, have stolen our voice. This is the only part of RNG in the entire run. We're going to hit this woman. She's going to teleport to a random direction, and then we're going to kill her while she's stunned. Where she teleports to and where these cells drop is the most RNG of the entire... is the only RNG of the run if I play as optimally as possible. That one wasn't too bad. It can definitely go better than that, but hey, it's a marathon, so we're not going to get best possible luck.
It wasn't horses.
It wasn't 4 horse races. That is correct. That there is a little skip called Moyle Skip. Basically, we're not supposed to be able to move during that cutscene, but if I time my inputs correctly, we can. It doesn't save any time, but I always get made fun of if I miss it. We've just unlocked our main movement ability, which you're going to see a lot. It's called Jaunt, but basically it is a dash. So you'll hear me use the word dash or jaunt interchangeably, just because I am not consistent with my language usage. But jaunt or dash is the way it gets used. We're getting introduced to a new enemy type known as the jerk. So the 3 enemy types we've seen so far are the jerks, the creeps, and the young ladies. So similar to the scumbags that you saw in Bastion just then. So This is our equipment menu, so this is where we equip and de-equip abilities. There is a very unique sort of loadout in Transistor where you can equip abilities as the primary function, and then you can also upgrade those abilities by equipping other abilities as secondary functions. So for example, we currently have the crash ability on hotkey number 1, and we have the bounce ability upgrading crash. So what that means is now when we use crash and the damage, the stun and the damage increase that gets applied by the crash ability bounces to other enemies. And if we were to put bounce on a different ability, the same thing would happen, where it would get spread around. So it's a really unique little way of setting up, and it allows us to do a whole bunch of really cool things. We do have a particular damage combo that will basically one-shot anything in the game outside of very large bosses. But luckily we see very few of those because we have learnt ways to skip them. This is Bike. Bike is a little 30-second cutscene. You have the choice of either accelerating or not. You can't see, but right now I am accelerating. Normally there's flames coming out the back of the bike, but I did it in a way. We're now riding an electric bike because we care for the environment.
Can you ride your bike with no handlebars?
No, not on this one in particular
okay.
anyway.
All
this
right,
bike is required to have handlebars.
Okay.
But accelerating through this cutscene saves exactly 30 frames, or half a second, which doesn't seem like a great deal, but once upon a time, the difference between first and second on the leaderboards was only 9 frames. So that 30 frames does in fact matter. This next section here, we've probably got time for, I'm going to say 2 donations-ish, while I am just going to move as quickly and attack as quickly as I can.
All right, I'm going to do my best here. We have $10 from Chupacat going towards the Hades incentive. We also have $50 from Cafe Ila. Revenge is red, the Transistor is blue. Clearly women don't want roses. They want swords and pew pew pew. And if my partner was a sword now, I'd still think he's cute. And this also goes towards the Hades Dash incentive. We also have $10 from Popper saying, what do safety carrots and transistors have in common? Anybody? I have no idea, and any help would be greatly appreciated. We have also $5 from Carter saying, for the safety carrots, and $50 once again from username Namiels. A transistor is a semiconductor device used to amplify or switch electrical signals and power. The transistor is one of the basic building blocks of modern electronics, and I think we finally got that question out of the way.
So that is the transistor in the real world, but in this world, the transistor is a sword that allows you to control things known as the process, which is the overarching umbrella term for all the enemies that we're encountering here. These guys are called the twins. Normally they line up and you kill both of them with that one bomb there, but they decided not to cooperate just then, which, you know, they very rarely decide to cooperate, which is to be expected. And now I'm going to do some counting. So I'm going to give you more time for some donations. Y'all are not going to count with me because it's a bit more of a complex counting. But like you can try and keep up if you want, but there's a hell of a lot more number changing. I'm also going to be using controller and keyboard here. So I'm switching from mouse and keyboard to controller and keyboard just to make this a little bit easier.
What a gamer.
So go for some more donations, Aish.
All right, I guess that is my cue. We are about $870 away still from that Hades incentive to be met. We have about half an hour or so to go, so please, people, put your money towards that incentive because we do want to go for this extreme incentive being in the Hades run. Also, let me just tell you a little bit about Alzheimer's, because the cause of dementia is a global challenge, as I think we are all aware. But let me put that in perspective for you. Because if global dementia care were a country, it would be the 14th largest economy in the world. By 2030, it will be the 5th largest economy in the world, which is massive. So each and every dollar you guys donate towards this charity, is well worth spent. And we have $5 from Flaffy saying, had to donate from one of my favorite Aussie streamers and your speedrun. Good luck, Mr. Cass.
Thank you, Fluffy. Okay, so what you just saw there, the camera is tied to Red's movement. Because I never actually moved, I only dashed, the camera never connected. The boundaries of the game are also tied to the camera. So when the camera didn't move because Red didn't move, we were able to dash out of bounds. So normally there you have to head sort of northwest and then northeast, and there's about 4 or 5 different fights. by going out of bounds before that first fight, we can actually go around the outside of the map and put ourselves at the trigger for the next boss fight. So you don't get to see any of it, which is why I had to do the counting, because you dash, to give you the exacts, you dash in one direction 4 times, one direction twice, a different direction 4 times, a different direction 3 times, 9 times, 21 times, 7 times, 4 times, and 1 time. Different directions each time, which is the exact number of dashes in the exact right direction to put you where this next boss spawns. And this is the only trigger where that actually works. Every other trigger is tied to the camera. If the camera isn't on the trigger, you can't activate it. For whatever reason, that is not the case with the microphone right before Sybil's fight, which is happening right about now. So this gives us a little bit of a flashback to right before the game started. And then you get into what used to be the largest reset point of the run, until very recently a runner by the name of Cinnamore discovered a super consistent strat to get her to get her 3 respawns done in 1 cycle of abilities. So we're going to try and do that. It's called Kiss the Sybil, which has a lot of lore implications because Sybil is in fact in love with Red, which is part of her downfall, which, Ella, we will get a lore update from you in just a second.
Yes, I am so ready.
So we're going to drop 1 orb right next to her there. We're going to walk up, we're going to give her a little kiss, we're going to drop another orb, then we're going to blow them up. But now we're going to drop 3 more orbs while she's respawning, and then blow them up immediately. And now we're going to drop another 3 orbs, and right as the 3rd one is being dropped, I'm going to hold Spark on the controller to get 2 inputs off as quickly as possible, and Sybil is now dead.
Orb.
Orb, yes. Oh, so that used to be the hardest, that used to be the biggest reset point. And for new runners, it still kind of is a really big reset point because it's not the easiest trick to do, but it is very much as consistent as possible you can get on the Sybil fights.
Honestly?
So now we're heading down. Don't know what's just happened. My screen has gone black, so I'm going to quickly... oh no, we're back, it's fine. And now we get to go on a boat. So Ella, would you like to give us a bit of an introduction to the Camerata and to Sybil?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. So first of all, resetting to kiss a woman is like the best reset. So just an argument to run the game. So basically what we missed earlier is that Red is a singer that was attacked during a gig. So we gave a concert, we were attacked by the Camerata that you can see right now on the screen. They're like 4 people who are trying to undermine democracy because Cloudbank is like a futuristic place where democracy is like everything. Like everything has been voted on and they just want to like mold the city in their idealistic picture. So they're trying to like, you know, absorb the abilities of like a really, really skilled individual into the Transistor. And they wanted to do that with us too, because we're a great singer and a great architect. Our friend protected us, and his voice instead that we hear was absorbed into the Transistor.
So here we've got our first fight skip. Basically, I'm going to enter turn. I'm going to pause time as quickly as possible here to cut off some dialogue. And then I'm going to try and dash through this door as quickly as possible. Once I'm going through the door, I'm going to, again, try and enter pause time as quickly as possible. So what this does is this locks me in the door transition state. So the door transition state is when Red is invulnerable. So Red cannot take damage, Red can walk through walls. It's basically God mode. And because I am now locked in that state until the next load file, I get to walk through all triggers, all walls, and everything without the game locking me in. So we just skipped 3 fights just there by locking ourselves in the door transition state. This section is called canals. It's going to look like I'm just dashing in random directions for random reasons, but these are very specific points that I'm dashing to in an attempt to dash over fights. So if I stand here and dash here, we enter a fight, but we do not trigger it. So these guys do aggro, but the part of the trigger where we enter into the fight and it locks us in never actually gets hit. I just stuffed that up, but that's okay. So basically what we're doing is we're entering fights without drawing the fight barriers. Because of that, we can just walk straight out. And then due to a weird way that this section is coded, we do have to finish at least 1 fight in order to unlock a door, which we're going to do... Wow, I just stuffed that up again. This is your marathon luck for you right here. Normally I never stuff this up, but that's okay. That's what we get for doing it at a major marathon. So that's 1 fight we're skipping right there. Normally we should be locked in.
Do you have a safety carrot?
I do have a safety carrot. There we go. That's it, correct. So that is the second fight skipped. That's the third fight skipped. And this is the fight that we're going to finish, because these guys already spawn in. So we have to at least get the flag to say, hey, you've finished combat, which is that right there. So now this door that we're heading towards is about to open up. And we're going to get into the second part of Canals, which is my least favorite fight. We do actually have a way of skipping this fight, but it is slower than if we were to just do this fight optimally. So if you're good at the game, you can do this faster than skipping the fight. But unfortunately, no one who speedruns Transistor is good at running the game. So we always stuff it up. Basically, we're going to try and blow all these guys up in one fight. Okay, that went as perfect as it could have asked for. So that's... Turns out I am good at running the game. So we're just going to pick up some new abilities here. The one ability that we just picked up there is very, very important. It is called Help, and I think all of you are going to really, really enjoy it when we use it against the last boss. So one more fight skip right here. I'm going to stand here, dash at this light right here, walk towards it, dash here, and we're free. So now I can just dash all the way to the end, and we've gotten through Canals. This is normally there's 8 fights, I think, in this section casually, and we only have to do 1 of them, which is really, really nice. This next section is sort of an auto-scroller, sort of not. Basically, you're just going to see me kill enemies in the most efficient way possible. I have to be standing in a specific point when the last enemy spawns for this to be considered the optimal elevator. And while I'm doing this, I'm actually going to get Kata to jump in and explain save displacements, because they are a major glitch in the run that we are going to start doing very soon. And they're too hard for me to explain while I play the game. So Kata, the floor is yours.
Time has come. So yeah, actually that's also a good point to make, is I had no idea they were called save displacements now, so that was a pleasant surprise. But yeah, so in this game, when you click on interactable objects, like terminals, for example, Red will be queuing up, interacting with that object, and she will walk towards it. However, you can interrupt that movement by just pressing a different direction or something, but the queued up action is still stored. So if you then use turn, so the time freeze, to walk past that object you queued up, you can basically carry that interaction with you to wherever you decide to go. So that allows us to interact, for example, with a save point somewhere else where it's a little more beneficial.
Cool. So basically, we've activated the save terminal while we're in the fight. Woo! Once we're in the fight, we can just... It saves our position. We reset the game. Because we're on the other side of the trigger, we can just never trigger the fight. So we're going to do that about 4 more times. You're going to see it again immediately here, but this one's a little bit different, where instead of a save, we're going to activate this little elevator here. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to pause, we're going to walk into it, and then dash away. And I have to do this without being able to see...
The classic.
That one, nope, that one, nope, that one, there we go. We got it. All right, so the elevator has been activated, and now I'm dashing to a save point. Save points hit, I reset the game. The elevator has still gone up, and the game thinks that I have gone up with it. So what that does is it skips a loading trigger that puts the transistor into what we call drunk state. So basically the transistor or the sword starts getting corrupted. When he's no longer in drunk state, it's going to mess with a loading screen in about a minute. Also, this is Frecky. Everybody say hi to Frecky. We're just taking him for a walk.
Hi, Frecky. Hello.
And we have time for about, let's go 2 donations.
All right, let's do it. We have $15 from Just Here for the Rewards saying, Cass, my kids are so sad that you managed to lose world record, but they're so excited that you're on the big stage. We're watching together. Also, 4 for you, Glen Coco, you go Glen Coco. And this also goes towards the Hades Dash only extreme measures for donation incentive. We have another $10 from Strive the Historian saying, a long time ago, a younger me fell in love with Supergiant games through Transistor. It became one of my first speedruns, and it's through this that I met awesome people like Caddy. I'm so happy to see a Supergiant block at ESA, and it's only missing Pyre. Good luck on the run, Cass, and pat that dog process.
Go sphere.
All right.
Sphere stripe, sorry.
So this is going to be one of the longest tricks in the game. So when I skip that elevator, that's when we started that trick. We're about to see the end of it here. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start taking intentional damage. I want to be hit 3 times by the falling spine, which is right here. So that's an enemy that operates differently to every other enemy. Normally when you pause the game, either by pausing, by entering turn, or opening an interactable item like a computer terminal, all the enemies freeze. The game does not consider the spine to be a regular enemy. So when you open a terminal, it will still attack you. When you take lethal damage, you get a sort of second wind option, if you will, where you have one last chance to save yourself. We have just entered that then by taking lethal damage. By exiting turn, I'm now able to walk around while this terminal is open. Normally, you cannot do this. So what we're going to do now is this sort of freaks the game out a little bit, and we're going to go through a door. So this is similar to the Bastion trick you saw where he entered the level while having the forge open. But basically, I'm going to enter this door, I'm going to close out of this terminal, I'm going to enter turn, all within about 3 frames of one another. That is going to allow us to start flying. Oh. There we go. That's going to allow us to start flying.
Oh.
So now we're completely out of bounds, skipping the entirety of the high-rise section, which is like 20 fights. We're just going around them all, and we're going to jump straight to the top of the tower, which is where we find the next boss, which is called Spine of the World. Now, Supergiant, as many donators are probably going to allude to, is such an incredible development studio. Like, they make so many good games. It was at this point in their development studio that they hadn't quite learnt that doors could be operated from 2 different sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to abuse that, and we're going to use the door to the spine arena from the wrong side. Because we never actually enter his arena, he never wakes up. Because he never wakes up, he never attacks us. And because he never attacks us, we just get to walk out again.
Get it? Because
Got it.
it's a spine, so we use the back door.
So that skips the entirety of the spine fight, and he just gets to live, which is super, super lovely. We're now on to bracket towers. This is where a lot of new tech has been found. And by new, I mean in the last 2 weeks. So we're actually going to dash around here. I'm going to use that locking our door transition state again to get out of bounds here. This doesn't actually save a great deal of time, but it's super consistent because we only need to dash in one direction, and we don't need to risk bumping into walls.
That was new.
That was new, yes, that was new. And you're going to see something even newer right now. I'm going to give a quick photosensitivity warning. If you are sensitive to flashing lights, please look away from the screen. I'll give you a heads up when you can look back. But we're going to go through this door. I'm going to hold down directions, and I'm going to spam escape. So what this does is this cancels Red's animation. Normally when she walks through this door, she immediately enters this fight, triggering it, and all these enemies start attacking you. Basically what we're doing is by cancelling her animation, she stops walking forwards. This allows us to then dash around the fight boundaries. This one is super precise, but because we never trigger these enemies' AI, as far as the game is concerned, we've never started the fight. And because we've never started the fight, we never get experience. So this allows us to save about 30 seconds later in the run by skipping a level up. So this is really precise. So I'm just going to line this up right here, dash right here, and we got it. Cool.
Basically,
Okay.
gaslighting the game.
Basically gaslighting the game, yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a safety save here, because if I fail this trick, we can soft lock.
Can I offer you a safety carrot in these kinds?
You can, yes. Thank you for the safety carrot. So we just did a similar trick there where we opened a terminal on the same frame as interacting with a jump object. So now we're going to jump, escape, and enter turn. This locks us out of bounds, and now we're supersonic. So I don't know if there's
I love Sonic!
I don't know if there is a red Sonic character, but if there is, we are now him.
Imagine.
Imagine it. I can't imagine
there was
there
a
being
red
Sonic
character. Amazing.
So that's one half of bracket towers done. We're now on to the second half. Lore-wise, Ella, I believe we're being stopped by a giant door. Is that correct?
That is it?
Yes, that is correct.
Right there.
Oh,
We are
door.
being blocked by a giant firewall,
I
which
mean, all the other
basically-
doors we kind of glitched through, so I wasn't really sure.
We're
about
not
it.
used to seeing doors.
Honestly.
So it's a giant firewall, and basically we need to unlock it in order to progress to the top of Bracket Towers. We've got another save displacement here, which we got. That's awesome. And Ella, would you like to explain to us why we are heading to the top of Bracket Towers?
We are heading to the top of Bracket Towers to get a nice view.
We're just out sightseeing.
We're just like, yeah, we kind of want to take revenge, but now we're like kind of deciding that we just want to actually take a vacation. No, so at the top of Bracket Towers is the home of two members of the Camarada, Asher and Grant. And they both also have the same last name, kind of hinting that they're like a couple and that they're together. And we are kind of seeking to confront them about all this process, kind of, raising havoc in Cloudbank, destroying things. So the stuff that you see and the chaos that is happening is all caused by something that is called process. And they were researching that thing, and up there's like their secret lab. So we're gonna like try out and figure out what is happening. They also have a cat, so we are heading upstairs in order to pet the cat. Woo!
Sorry.
Love that.
Sorry. I'm going to cut you off for 2 seconds.
Yes,
you will have more time
absolutely.
to explain.
I'm already done.
But there was 3 tricks that you saw there. Another save displacement, and then I unequipped all my abilities. So if abilities were closed, we're naked right now, with the exception of our running shoes. So the only ability I currently have equipped is my dash. That's because after this next cutscene, the game is going to throw us straight into a battle. Because it automatically saves before the battle, if we don't have any offensive abilities, once we're in the battle, we can't win. So the game is nice to us and says, hey, you don't have any combat abilities, you can't progress through this, you are hard locked in the game right now. It just ends the combat for us immediately. So that saves about 25 seconds by just unequipping all our abilities. So you're going to see that happen in just a minute. But Ella, why are Grant and Royce on the floor?
I just want to mention that I also unequip all my abilities on a Monday morning. Please don't. So we find Grant and Royce lying on the floor, lifeless here. And they left a message on that terminal, and their last message was kind of like they couldn't really live with the guilt. They didn't mean to turn Cloudbank into chaos. They really just wanted to do what's best. But I guess that's what happens when, powerful people are seeking to get all the decision power for themselves, like history has taught us. So they basically took matters into their own hand. There was also a cat, I don't know if you've seen, and now we're going full Son Goku because we're riding...
Now we have an Nimbus Cloud.
Yeah, we're riding the process, and it looks like a cloud, and basically the only person left from the Camarada now is Royce, and all my homies hate Royce.
We do hate Royce. I'm very excited to show. I'm very excited to show Katareva Royce development.
Yeah.
So as soon as we land here, I'm going to start dashing in a particular direction. I'm supposed to be in a fight when that happens. So very observant people will see in the bottom left-hand corner. You'll just see some enemies explode. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm going to kick it over for some messages.
My pleasure. We have a couple donations coming in, all with no comment, but all of them have a donation incentive attached, which makes me really happy because we have $50 from Anonymous going towards the extreme measures for Hades Dash only incentive. We have a further $30, from Minox, also going towards the Hades incentive, and another $50 from Helmet, also going towards Hades. And let me just quickly refresh that, because we are still about $700 away from meeting that. So a lot of donations are coming in, but please, people, keep donating so we can see that being met.
And if you all want to pet the dog, you're going to have to get that donation met in the next, let's say, you probably only got less than 10 minutes. Let's just put it that way. So we've got another fight skip coming up just here. I don't re-equip my abilities yet because we're not actually going to fight anything for a little bit. So I'm just going to line this up here, and I stuffed it up. That's okay. That's okay, because that's just going to give you time for one more message.
All right, we have $10 from Anonymous, putting $4 towards Hades Dash, $4 towards the Stepmania Showcase bonus song, Here Comes Plum Eurobeat Remix, what a mouthful, and $2 putting towards the Super Metroid Survive the Chat Zero Suit Samus cosplay incentive, which will actually be happening tomorrow evening. So if you want to see our runner put on a Zero Suit Samus cosplay, well, there is your incentive.
And on the topic of that run, that is such an exciting run to have here. So Selena is wonderful at what she does. And so if y'all haven't seen it, make sure you tune in. And,
Honestly, I will be personally offended if we all don't meet that goal. Like, I'm actually so excited for that run.
All right, so what's the next screen? Sorry, I've lost where I'm at in the game right now. So basically, anyone who is super observant will see that we're actually heading back through areas we've already been. However, the process, who have basically just... the Camerata have lost control of the process, and they are basically deformatting the entire city. This is where we're going to re-equip our abilities. We're going to chuck that ability, whose name I will not say, on... to dash. So now every time we dash, we're going to get a little bit of a clone, and we're going to use that to abuse some enemy AI later. So we're just going to dash through all these sections here. That was another fight skip where we aggro the fight, but we do not draw the fight boundaries. And here, we're going to be introduced to the most annoying enemies in the entirety of the game. I just accidentally aggroed him. You know what? This is fine. We can work with this. I do that. I do that.
Hate when I aggro a man.
Oh, this is... Oh, and he's gone. Of course, he's gone invisible. All right. So men, there are 4 different types of men. They are designated by their hair color. They throw their haircuts at you. Okay, he's dead. Cool. Normally, we kill him before we aggro him, but I did that wrong. So you guys got to see a man fight. But there are 4 different types of men. The worst thing about them is they will actually... share their abilities. So there's a fight coming up where there's 3 different men that can turn invisible, regenerate health. I can't remember what the third one's ability is, but because there's 3 of them, each with that ability, there is 3 of them with all 3 abilities. That's the scariest fight in the game. So if I don't die there, we are sitting very pretty. This is Bike again. Unfortunately, this is the last time we will see Bike for the rest of the run. Mentioning earlier what was the countryside, there is the best voiced line in this entire game is, "See you in the countryside, Mr. Bike." But unfortunately, I am too fast, so we never get to hear it. So chat and the audience, if you could please give me a "See you in the countryside, Mr. Bike."
See you in the countryside, Mr. Bike.
Thank you all. And
I'll miss you so much.
another one of your questions, Aish, is about to be answered as I'm on my way to introduce you all to Bob. Bob is a character who is a good lesson. Bob is not very good at his job. Bob faked it until he made it, and now he's very shy. So he's going to pull us across this ledge, and then he doesn't know what to do next. So he just loses aggro altogether. And because of that, we actually get to kill him. So this is a lesson as to why faking it until you make it is not a good not a good way to live life. You should instead believe it until you become it. And then if that was the case, Bob may have been a slightly bigger enemy. This is back where we at the very start of the game, this is where we picked up our first ability, and we do have another photosensitivity warning. So please look away. I'll give you a heads up when you can look back, and then there's only going to be 1 more of those for the rest of the run. So do you remember, Kata, back when you used to run the game, Royce's 40-second monologue?
I did, yeah.
You do, yeah. Guess what doesn't happen anymore? So, there we go.
Yeah, I remember not having to listen to that in the other
in low
category,
percent?
but,
Okay, in low percent, so now we don't listen to it in any percent
way,
either.
Yeah.
So now, normally, this was the biggest skip that has been found in the last couple of months. Normally, Royce there goes on a 45-second monologue about how great he is.
He likes to talk a lot.
Oh, we hate him so much. I have lost multiple world record runs to accidentally clicking on him and entering just a minute's worth of dialogue, and it's so frustrating. So another runner by the name of Finn, who is the absolute backbone of this community, found a way to skip it using animation cancelling. Also, those of you who are looking away from the screen, you may now look back. We've got another one in a couple of minutes, but you've got some time. We found a way to not only skip a really tough fight that's there, but to skip his dialogue. Funnily enough, that was found a day after I got world record for the very first time. So I got my world record after grinding it out for months and months and months and months. We get it, and then the next day we find a new skip that saves over a minute. So you can tell that I was more than happy with it. It was very, very exciting. So we are heading into the last animation cancel and the last photosensitivity warning. So if all of you who are sensitive to such things could look away, I'll give you a heads up in about 10 seconds when you can look back. This is one last animation cancel that we're going to do here that I'm hopefully going to be able to do properly. I just need to see. There she is. All right, perfect. So there we go. We've never actually entered the fight boundaries. This is why we have the ability. We summon our clones because that just makes that room so much safer because the men attack your clones instead of attacking you. This is one last save displacement, and we're at the final point of the game. Aish, how are we doing on the incentive? Do I get to pat the dog?
We are still about $500
Oh,
away, so
chat.
I think that dog is actually not getting any pets.
Luna is going to be so incredibly sad. Anyone want to drop $500 right now?
But we do have a couple donations if we have the time real quick.
Yes. I reckon you got time for about 2.
All right, we have $10 from Aladdin, putting that towards the Stepmania showcase when Here Comes Splum Eurobeat Remix. And we have $100 from our very own Popper saying, need to get that incentive, so must pull out the big guns. In these trying times, even a safety carrot will help you. We need it. We need unfair you know, that Welsh plays or whatever Popper likes to put in his messages.
All right, that was the 3-man fight, and it just went literally perfectly. And when I did that little setup earlier where I didn't trigger the fight AI, meaning I didn't get experience, which saved a level up, that's the fight there that we skipped the level up for. So normally I would level up and have to unlock 3 separate ability, or an ability, a limiter, and something else.
Passive slot?
And a passive, thank you, yes. One after the other. And it just takes time, which we don't use any of it, so... we don't have to use any of it. So here, I haven't practiced this trick before, but I just found out it existed, so I'm going to try give it another go. That one, there it is. Cool, so that's super consistent to do, which I really like that.
Woo!
There we are. You just saw me try a trick for the first time. And unfortunately, we're going to walk past this door, which is where we would go to pat a dog, but... We're going to dash here, we're going to dash here, we're going to hide behind these branches. And there we go. And we've just skipped another fight. This is the last save displacement of the run. And we got it. Cool.
Safety!
So, that is going to dash us past, instead of past a combat trigger, that's going to jaunt us past a cutscene trigger. So normally Royce would be talking to us here again. Surprise, surprise. Royce likes to hear the sound of his own voice. Because we've skipped past it, we're just going to completely ignore everything he has to say. We actually don't interact with Royce in any way through this whole game now. We literally just get to the point where we fight him, we kill him, and then the run is over.
Which I guess is some kind of interaction, but...
Which I guess is some kind of interaction. It's the Fifth Element style of gameplay where the protagonist and the enemy never actually meet. But Ella, do you want to give us a super quick rundown on the interactions we haven't had?
We just breached Royce's firewalls, and Royce was basically kind of like... he was saying, okay, bring me back the transistor, I can fix it. That's what we're doing. And he makes us think that we are doing a good thing right now. So by putting the transistor back into what is called the cradle, we are being absorbed, I believe, into the transistor. And that's where we're going. That's where we're going now. And we're gonna... can this cutscene go a bit faster so I'm not taking it away? Safety carrots. So now we are inside the transistor, which is where we meet Royce. And Royce is kind of telling us, haha, I mean, I'm going to fix it, but only one of us can leave. So we're like, that's a little dodgy. And I guess we just continue to tear down the patriarchy here.
So this is another new tech that has been found. Because we no longer level up at that point, we can no longer attach a particular ability. We don't have enough power to attach a particular ability. So this fight got about, I'd say 50% harder. But with a bit of luck, it's not going to go wrong. At my last marathon run, the game crashed here for the first time in 850 resets. So we're going to hope that doesn't happen again. But we're going to equip that.
I got the safety carrots. Don't worry.
And look, we may not get to pet the dog, but I'm happy to report that we will still get to see the dog. So one of those abilities that I did pick up is called Help, where we summon a friendly dog process to help us out. Her name is Luna, and she is the reason that we're able to finish this game in such a quick way. Because on this patch, we do play on a previous patch of the game, she's actually bugged. So what we're going to do is she's going to bark at this orb here. When Luna barks at an orb, it duplicates it. So we put one orb on the ground, we bark at it 3 times, we then have 4 orbs, and they all blow up at the same time. So Luna is the main reason we can actually beat this game as quickly as we possibly can. On newer patches, that has been fixed. So this is why we play on a previous version of the game. So we're going to do that. And if I do this right, we'll even get to see her in the final cutscene, which is going to be right... Oh, nope.
Q.
Hello. There we go. 2, 3, Q, run, 1, 1, 1. Okay, there we go.
Got this.
And Royce is dead. So.
Royce rolled.
Royce got rolled. Okay, so we have now been returned to the city of Cloudbank. The process have unfortunately won. They formatted the entirety of the city and gone back to where they came from, basically. So as you can see, we're just a pure blank slate. However, with a blank canvas, we have the Transistor, which is the brush. The brush is going to allow us to recreate Cloudbank in our own image. So we're going to start doing that by putting back these beautiful statues that have lots of symbolism attached to them that we're not going to get into because I've only got like 19 seconds until I go over estimate. I think, funnily enough, I think I submitted my estimate based on load remove timers, not actual in-game, not actual RTA timers. So I think that's why I've gone over, because this has actually been a pretty decent run. I shouldn't have gone over 40 minutes, but we're going to rebuild the start of Cloudbank, and then Red is going to decide that a Cloudbank without her darling partner, the narrator, is not a world that she wants to live in. Spoilers for the next 10 seconds. There we go. So we're going to rebuild these statues before she makes that decision, and then we're going to head down to where the game first started. There is quite a lot about cycles and circles and a whole bunch of symbolism in this game. We have barely scratched the surface. Just to give you an idea, there are 20 different abilities and levels in this game. We have done 5 of them. So time is going to be as soon as we fade to black. Just so we can watch this cutscene here. And while this is happening, I may as well start my outro. So first and foremost, obviously to Ella for being here. Thank you so much. Again, I would not have submitted to this if it were not for you. You got a bag of carrots.
They brought me a bag of safety carrots.
So thank you. Thank you to Ella for encouraging me to be here. Thank you to Kata for coming in and
Being here.
So Katarev ran this game for a very long time. He held the world record for over 3 years. And seeing his name used to bring me so many nightmares. But it was an unbeatable run. I'm talking, we got to the point where we found tech that saved 40 seconds. We still couldn't beat his time. I still remain the fact that Katarev is the best transistor speedrunner that has ever existed, and I'm just doing this really to inflate his ego. So Kata, thank you so much for being here. Audience, thank you so much for being here. I want to give a massive shout out to Sinner, Finn, and Jenka. You guys heard in a donation earlier. I started this event as the world record holder. 22 hours ago, it got taken away from me. However, it has not been verified on speedrun.com yet, so far as the leaderboards are concerned, I'm still the world record holder at this point. Woo! I want to give a super big shout out to the friends I met and made at the Copenhagen airport. For those of you who don't know, so many of us were stranded at the Copenhagen airport for between 10 to 16 hours on the first day of this marathon. And all of you made it so much bearable, so thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you over the course of the event. If you like what you have seen here, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/KassXCII. They're the Roman numerals for 92. And over on that Twitch channel, we have a little bit of a tradition that my chat would be incredibly unhappy with if I didn't do right here and invite you all into. So, to those of you watching live at home, to those of you here in the audience, and to those of you watching the VOD later on YouTube, I want to remind you all that the world is a bigger, better, and brighter place with you in it. You're doing a wonderful job. I am super proud of you, and in case no one has told you today, you've got a great butt, a cute face, and I love you. So stay happy, stay safe. If you can't do either of those, then stay strong. Because better days are coming, and they are just around the corner, I promise you that.
Cute butts.
So until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other. I have been Cass, this has been Transistor, you have been incredible, and I'll see you all next time. Mwah.
Thank you so much, Cass, for this Transistor run. Before we head off to the intermission, we have a couple donations to go through really quickly. We have $50 from Jenkar saying every dog deserves pets. And while we haven't met that, we definitely did meet the Hardest Pet the Dog incentive, so we will see that in that run. However, we still need about $500 to see that extreme Measures 4 run of Hades being done. So everybody watching this, you know, you have the intermission to get that met. We need $500 raised for that. And to do that, we have $20 from Cafe Illa saying safety, carrots, and dog petting. I mean, at least you have your carrots right there, right now. And another $20 from Kalobi saying, good luck, okay, with running this very fun category. And hopefully, this probably goes towards the next one. But anyway, I started with it. Hopefully, Tunis doesn't bless you with too many rats. Trans right, hashtag pause up. And with that, I will leave you to the intermission. That's the word.
Let's do it.
Intermission now. We're taking a little break here.
In
So
fact,
get up and stretch. Donate money so I can read that off that we met the extreme measures incentive for the next run. And I will see you
That's
soon.
right. I just wanted to make sure the credits showed up on screen. Supergiant Games, you are incredible. Thank you. Mwah.